Will Poulter is definitely a star on the rise. Detroit, starring Algee Smith, Will Poulter, Jacob Latimore, Jason Mitchell, Jack Reynor, Ben O'Toole, John Boyega, Anthony Mackie, Hannah Murray, Kaitlyn Dever, and directed by Kathryn Bigelow. The movie recounts the story of 3 murders at the Algiers Motel during the 1967 12th Street Race Riots in Detroit. Police and National Guardsmen came to the hotel after guardsmen thought they had been shot at by a sniper. Detroit police then interrogated a group of teens at the hotel looking for a gun, and in one way or another, killed 3 of the suspects. The movie does a good job in trying to capture the feel for the entire riots and the particular incident. Detroit is an emotional film, with current events echoing the main story. Kathryn Bigelow draws the audience into the story with how she shoots the film. She does a great job of framing the events by setting up how the riots initially started, and the overall feel in this part of the city at the time. The short animation at the start of the movie was also a clever way to give some overall historical perspective. Using actual footage from the 60s was also a great way to set the stage for the movie. The story of the film feels like a historical recreation of the actual events. Bigelow shoots the movie in a way to insert the audience into the story. At moments, it can feel like you're on the shoulder of the characters, a silent observer to the events of the night. I knew virtually nothing about the events of the Algiers Motel, other than knowing the name and that something bad happened at the location. It seems Bigelow tried to be as faithful as she could be based on the recollection of the people involved. The cops in the film are not the actual police officers found in the case, but an amalgamation of the officers who were accused of the actions. Most of the other characters are actual people. The realism of the recreation of events and how it draws you into the story is one of the film's true highlights, and is a reason to go out and watch Detroit. The other main reason to watch the film is the performances, and one of the standouts is Will Poulter. He should be an actor to watch with his recent performances. He was great in The Revenant and played a completely different type of character in that than he does in Detroit. Some of his earlier works were comedic, showing he has incredible range as an actor. He is absolutely fantastic as the lead cop in the story, and is terrifying as he berates the people of the hotel looking for the gun. Even if the character he portrayed wasn't a real person, the sense of realism he brought to the role stands out. The film might have dropped a little early for Oscar consideration, but he should be in the running for Best Supporting Actor. The rest of the performances are also stellar, with Algee Smith playing the singer Larry Reed, another standout. If there is a main character to this true life event film, it's Larry. We see more of his dreams and aspirations and what the events of the night do to him for the rest of his life than anyone else. Smith does a good job of capturing the before and after of the event. All of the performances in the movie are good, and they add in the retelling of this compelling story. The only narrative which didn't hit home was of Melvin Dismukes, portrayed by John Boyega. Boyega's performance is fine, but the narrative around his story is a bit of a mess. There is never really a good explanation of why he was eventually charged with a crime at the end of the movie. I understand he was trying to be set up to take the fall, but the actual movie doesn't dive deep enough into the story for it to make any sense. My best guess is there's more footage of Dismuke's story on the cutting room floor, and it was edited for time. We see him get arrested in the movie, and then the story jumps back to the police officers, and the film loses focus on Dismukes completely. It is the only instance of the film which pulled me out of the story. I wanted to know more about what happened to Melvin. The movie frames his story as someone who wanted to be at the hotel to try and make sure nothing got out of hand. It still eventually did, but we don't get to see how it affected him as much as we do with Larry the singer. It's unfortunate that this part of the story got the short end of the stick, but maybe there will be a director's cut of the film which will flesh out the narrative more completely. The only other negative for the film is that it takes a while to get into the actual events of the night. Bigelow did a great job of setting the stage, but she could have shaved off some of the riot scenes to pick up the pace. This is more of a small nitpick of the film, but the first part did make me wonder where the story was heading. With a cut down of the setup, the movie could have gotten more into Dismuke's story later in the film, and it would have had more of a payoff for the character. I understand the need for the setup in the movie, and how it set the stage for the tension in the city, and how it led to the events of the hotel. I think it just could have been shaved down a hair, and it would not have affected the story overall. Detroit is a good movie to watch based on the current climate in the country. Bigelow approaches the story with care, and delivers a fantastic film which can be the start of a discussion point. It's not an easy film to watch, but one I could watch again. Fans of history should give this one a chance. This is an event I've studied or looked at before, but it now has piqued my interest. Bigelow continues to deliver hard-hitting, gritty movies, which explore complex subjects. I'm not sure she will get Oscar buzz for this, but that shouldn't take away from a job well done. Go out and see Detroit or rent it when it becomes available. It's well worth the investment of time. Comment and let me know what you thought of Detroit if you've seen it. If not, what's your favorite directed Kathryn Bigelow film? Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching.